Welcome to the Blueprints Podcast. I'm Isabelle Broidingham, Director of Marketing at Custom Built Design and Modeling. And today I'm joined by one of my favorite people of all time, Gracie Perrault. We have been friends for how many years now?
Since we were babies, like 4 or 5 years old, which is so crazy.
Like, I don't even remember when we first met. So forever, years and years. And it's been so fun to watch you over the years really develop into who you are today. And I just know you have so much more ahead of you in your future. And so I'd love to talk about one of your greatest strengths, which is bringing people together. Mm-hmm. You have always had a gift for naturally doing that. And then over the years, I've watched you hone that, and you have started a business. A couple businesses along the way. You've done a couple businesses, and today you're running something called the Cultivate Collective. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, but let's start with your background and story.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me on. I think kind of going back to my story a little bit of how everything started out. Well, as you know, I started my business when I was 12 years old, and it was an events business, which is crazy that it kind of started out that way. Yeah. Trickled into more the influencer role. So I was doing some stuff with online blogging around like 2016.
Which was so fun.
I know. It was a whole different side of myself that it was just a fun little creative outlet, honestly. Mm-hmm. And then from the blogging, then turned into an online clothing store, like my junior year of high school.
And that had all sorts of craziness in it. Like you were learning the development side, and you were doing like a bunch of stuff with blogging and online retailing and everything. So that was cool.
Yeah. And then kind of from there, I actually went off to Liberty University and went and studied business marketing while I was there. And that kind of led for opened up a lot of different connections for me within the school. I even got to work with an app development company. I just had some crazy opportunity while I was there that really then led to me actually meeting another business owner in the area of Lynchburg, Virginia, and she handed over her spray tan and teeth whitening salon to me while I was there, which you came out and visited and got to see me in my element. I got to whiten your teeth.
Tan.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the spray tan?
Oh, I loved it.
Really?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. It's a great quality spray tan. I don't love spray tans in general, which you know about me. Yeah. But it helped me out. I got to Hawaii. I looked great. So it was awesome.
Yes. But you get your teeth whitened.
I do. Yeah. I love that service.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did the spray tan and teeth whitening studio, kind of rebranded it to Glow by Gracie, and then ended up migrating and bringing it up to Michigan. Opened that up within the last couple years, and then kind of expanded into 3,500 square feet of collaborative space, which is what you were referring to, the Cultivate Collective. So for beauty and wellness owners to open up their own business and kind of just start from the ground up. And also, a way for us to kind of market amongst each other, because I love in this space, like really like community over competition. I believe really wholeheartedly in that. Yeah. I think that in the aesthetic space and stuff like that sometimes, or wellness, it can kind of become that unintentionally, but also sometimes maybe intentionally. I don't know. I'm not here to judge that, but I think it's just important, the emphasis on community within any shared workspace concept that you do create. Yeah. But also for the ability to meet other people and network. I think it's so important. So
yeah, I absolutely agree. And then you did a wellness day event, which is like one of my favorite highlights from this last year. So talk to me about that. Like what'd you do?
Yeah. So November of last year, actually here in the Hidden Grove Estate, I got to host a state-of-the-art event that I actually ended up emceeing, which from the beginning, I did not believe, somebody encouraged me to do it. I can mention his name or not. I don't know. Should I mention his name? His name's Dan Corey, and he is just an incredible business owner who now moved to Dallas. But he was like, Gracie, I think because you're hosting this event, you should MC the event. And I was kind of a little nervous at first of that, because I feel like it's like, okay, wait, how do I MC? But anyway, I just got up there with my confidence and put myself out there like I always do. And it was such an amazing flow of an event. We started out with kind of like a mindfulness breathwork session at the beginning, led by Courtney King. And then we had various different speakers come in, anywhere from like fitness industry to health, people that were, just that have been in the health and wellness industry for a while. And then also beauty industry. Brought in some social media people as well to talk about their social media experience and how to really build a brand that stands out. And so we just had a really great time. I got some really great feedback, and I'm excited to start hosting some more events kind of centered around that as well. So you guys get an inside. Yes. We're looking to host a couple more events, kind of catered more towards social media, but then also some more community oriented events.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know some of your like family background too. You know, you're the oldest daughter of 8 kids.
Yeah.
So we have that in common. I'm the oldest of 8 too. And I just have seen, again, over the years, like going back to some of the community piece, like you just have ingrained in you this ability and capability to host and to really like create an environment where people can create deeper connections with each other.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Because it's such a natural thing that you do, but like, I also believe that you're very intentional, and I've seen you intentionally grow in that. So how do you do that?
Yeah. So I think now having a brick and mortar, I've had the ability to meet a lot of amazing people. And I think doing a spray tan is actually one of the most vulnerable states that you would see somebody in as a spray tan artist. And so immediately, right, somebody's going to pick up on your energy and kind of what you create the space to be like. So I feel like even with your help of designing my space, it started with that, with the brick and mortar studio, making it a space that felt calm and serene for somebody to enter in, but then also the music and a candle lit and making it feel inviting. But I would say that for me, it would be just kind of like leading with genuine interest. I feel like really asking deep questions, but also meeting their needs and kind of where they're at, you know, meeting them with that same excitement of, oh, my wedding's coming up, and then asking them, you know, questions based on that.
And you and I talk a lot about this in our walks, is like being present.
Yeah.
Like being where our feet are at. And that is exactly what that is. So.
Yes, exactly. Like silencing the phone, you know, for those 15 to 20 minutes that I'm with that person, and just really giving it like my all to just be all in and present with them. And then I think the follow-up too, if I meet somebody, I mean, not only just my own clients that I like to follow up with, obviously after I meet them, hey, how was your spray tan? You know, doing that follow-up is really important, but also remembering their name so that if I see them out in public, or, you know, say I meet a really cool business owner out in the area too, I say their name back to myself 3 times.
Okay.
And then I also will, you know, put them in my phone as like a contact, but then also follow up with them a couple days later after I've met them and just say, hey, it was really nice to meet you. Here's my information, you know, here's my Instagram page or whatever. And I think that too kind of creates more like, oh, wow, like a couple days later, she remembers me.
Yeah.
So I think that the follow-up is really important. And
that's so big in a digital world, is the personal connection. And obviously with you doing blogging and influencing and stuff, you know very much how how that world works. But the fact that you follow up and have genuine care and interest with somebody, especially after you've had a conversation, that just makes all the difference.
Absolutely. And they see that too, that it's like genuine interest. And there may be people that I meet too that I'm like, I don't know, like, I mean, maybe down the line or something we'll reconnect, but I think really following up, is super important. And then being consistent too after the fact. So if I meet somebody that it's like, wow, we really connect on a whole nother level, like following up with that person and being like, hey, like, let's meet for coffee, like this day, this time, are you available? Yeah. And being really intentional with that, which I feel like you're really great about, being intentional with all of your employees and just taking those times to do your one-on-ones and stuff like that. I actually am more curious about that, but I think it's really unique in that way too, of just, you know, being willing to sit down with somebody, even if it's for 30 minutes at a coffee shop. It's just hearing their story. And like you said, it comes back to that connection piece. People just want to connect, and they want to hear, what struggles are you going through and how are you making it through? And so, that's so good. I think that the piece there too is just bringing your authentic, genuine self to every conversation, which you do so well. Like that's one of the things I really admire about you, is you show up in a space and you're Gracie here, you're Gracie when you're at, Target, when you're out spray tanning someone, when you're at this next event. Right? Having a hoot and a holler, but also, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So I think that's a big piece too to that connection, is like you said in the beginning, bringing your authentic self and then really caring and going deeper with somebody. So good. Well, let's talk about Cultivate Collective, because I'm very excited about that. What's your big picture vision?
I have a big dream to kind of create what I have now on steroids, is basically what I say. So just a bigger expansion of what I have now. Yeah. Pairing that with like a coffee shop as well as a gym. So I've been talking to different investors in the area and just trying to kind of get on board as to like an overall kind of dream board as to like what this is going to look like, but I think it could be really something that would catalyze really well in this area. I think we have a lot of great gyms, but the community aspect piece, like outside of the gym, and then also creating like a cafe, which creates the connection piece.
Yeah.
And then centering it around our 3 core values, which is community, connection, and collaboration. I believe if you have all 3 of those things in a business, you will succeed.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, you will succeed.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. Yeah, and you and I have talked a lot about that, and I'm very excited for when you do, because I know you'll get there one day. Like you have the drive, you have the vision for when we do get there, because I think our market could really use that. We have nothing like that, right? So something where it's beautiful, it inspires creativity, and then there's a place where you can really genuinely connect with people.
Mm-hmm. And then still including the shared workspace concept above. So rentable suites for business owners, you know, maybe even some sort of a studio, podcasting studio and things like that too, I think would always be neat and
so
a great addition.
If we were dreaming, and I know this because we've talked about this a lot, but if you were like, close your eyes and be like, okay, you walk in and this is what the space looks like, what is it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Just today, it'll change, right?
Yeah, it'll change. But I think doing like the lower level, having the gym on the lower level, doing like state of the art facility, I'm thinking like going all out. You know me, I'm go big or go home. So, and my dad even always too is like, are you sure? And I'm like, yep, I'm doing it. So, and there's no holding back. So I think just like state of the art equipment for the gym and just making it look really clean and aesthetic, minimal vibes, but that clean, crisp white feel. I just always feel so inspired when I'm in like a minimal
and like lots of light too.
Lots of light with big windows. And then off to that, there would be locker rooms that would have like the sauna cold plunge concept.
Yes.
And then what else would be in the maybe hot tubs? I don't know if we're going to go that far, but we'll see.
But a whole different like wellness area.
Yes. And then kind of doing like a juice bar also on that first level, which would have like a full service cafe as well. So we could also do protein shakes and things like that. And then maybe having the hair bar downstairs. So different hairstylists could rent out chairs down there to do hair. And then having kind of upstairs be where the shared workspace concept would be located. So everybody can rent out a suite.
So cool. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're interested in helping Gracie, reach out to her, because I know there's a lot there and you're gonna need a lot of people, a lot of connections to pull this off. But I'm excited because one day soon, Lansing, greater Lansing area somewhere, who knows where the exact location will be, but we'll have a Cultivate Collective.
I believe too, because we have the school here, Michigan State, I believe like really partnering with them as well too, and making those connections as well with the school would really help. Yeah. Because of all the students that are here, I think pairing up with the school would be a really big thing. So if anybody does have connections with Michigan State, I already, a few are coming to mind that I'm like, maybe to reach out to.
Yeah. So, amazing. Maybe. I love it. Well, as we wrap up today, because this has been so fun, we'll do this again for sure.
Yes.
But as we wrap up today, I mean, you've learned so many lessons over the years, you know, being in business, growing personally and professionally. So what would be a piece of advice that you'd leave a listener with?
One of the biggest pieces of advice that I would give to a business owner, maybe just starting out in business, is my biggest one is always just not being afraid to fail. Like you don't know until you try. Yeah. So really small step, like just take that one step of like, okay, I'm going to, you know, buy the course or try this one thing. You never know until you try. So I think starting out small and just bite-sized piece by bite-sized piece, really. And like also inviting AI. I feel like you just had a conversation about that, but I think not being afraid of it and, you know, utilizing that as well if you're starting out on your own, especially as a solopreneur. I feel like that's definitely a great way to start out a business and ask other people, invite other people, and there's always others willing to help. And so I think for me too, like that's one of the biggest, like where I grew so far so quick was by inviting other people in and saying, hey, like I need help in these areas. What are your suggestions for me? And then the other piece of advice that I would give is just protecting your peace. I think so easily as business owners, we kind of can spread ourselves too thin too quickly and then burn out. And that was definitely a season that I faced, which we could talk more about as well. And I'm still kind of getting out of, but the burnout thing is crazy. And I think just protecting your peace is really important. And like, what does that mean for you? Because what may be you protecting your peace could look different for me. Yeah. And I think it's just, you know, what like getting quiet with yourself in the morning and asking, okay, like, what do you want for this day, Lord? Or, I think all of those things kind of play a part in also protecting your peace.
Yeah, that's a really big one that you and I talk about often on our walks, right? Is just how do you create an environment that, we're both like, we work a lot, right? Both of us. And like we put our all into what we do. And so how do you put your all in and make sure that you leave some for you at the end of the day?
Yeah. So I really believe protect your peace in every aspect, and that's how you build something that lasts.